You take the breath right out of me. You left the hole where my heart should be. You gotta fight just to make it through, 'cause I will be the death of you.
Guys, got one with me and Soily from ONM, and it's Jim versus Jim. Now, he leads the psychic Jim, whereas I take Bug. And so I lead off with T-Tar, as always, and I expect either the Stealth Rock or the Hypnosis, so I decide to sub up. Now here, I decide to go for the Dark Pulse, and I call the Flinch, so just listen to this.
Flinch. Yes, I called the flinch. I'm going to put that in the vid.
Right, so there you go. Just wanted to get that on there, just to show you my precognitive awesomeness. So he EQs, breaks the sub, and I go for a Focus Punch. Seeing as Dark Pulse didn't do all that much, I was thinking that he was more special based. So I thought the Focus Punch would do a bit more. And indeed it does. Now I'm thinking what to do here, and I reckon that another Dark Pulse just might take him out, but he lives with just like a tiny, tiny bit of HP. And he hits me with a Gyro Ball, and it hurts quite a bit, but not nothing that I can take, so it's all good. Now, I didn't expect the switch here, but I just decided to Dark Pulse anyway, and he switches to Cress. It's not necessarily a bad move, seeing as his entire team was Psychic, but if he saw that coming, I reckon he should have probably switched out to maybe his Metagross or something. But yeah, he gets me with the T-Wave, and I get paralyzed, which was kind of a nuisance. But it didn't really make that much of a difference, apart from one Power Hacks right here. He Charge Beams, and it does basically nothing, and that was a crit. And I just lolled at that, because it just does nothing. And then I just get a crit back at him, which was really funny. So, yeah, that was all good. And actually the Power Hacks didn't happen then, so it must happen now. So, yeah, he brings out his Metagross. Actually, no, it doesn't happen at all. He just mashes me. I decide to stay in and die because T-Tar is pretty much useless to me now. And down he goes. She actually, Mrs. T. Sorry, gotta get that in. So now I just decide to bring in my Specs Chompy, the awesome Specs Chomp, who just rapes everything. And I go with a Fire Blast, and he's thinking about what to do. He's not sure whether he should switch out for the Earthquake or predict me to Outrage, but I'm going to do none of that because I am not physical. So I Fire Blast, and it OHKOs his Metagross, and that was awesome. So basically, I'm trying to really give him a fair game by like not making the type advantage make much of a difference. So I decide to stay in here and Fire Blast and just let him take out my Garchomp with Ice Punch. So down I go. And I didn't know he was banded at this time, but later on I found out, and it really did hurt me quite a bit. So I see he doesn't have leftovers, but I didn't notice at the time that he didn't, so I brought in Scissor, and I expect the switch to something. So I decide to Metal Claw, just to see if I can get that attack raise. But he goes to Bronzong, and it resists it anyway, but my Metal Claw misses, so yeah, not that big of a deal. I go back and I go to Nubs, the awesomeness of a Shuckle, to take the Hypnosis, because Nubs just doesn't care being asleep. He rests up all the time, he likes sleeping, he's having a snooze, that's Nubs for you. And so he puts me to sleep after the first Hypnosis misses, and he decides to withdraw his Bronzong, I think, now. Yep, and he goes to his Gallade, and I decide to go back to Eddie, the Scissor. Now, for some reason, I thought that I was faster than his Gallade, so I decided to X-Scissor, but it turns out that he outsped me, and he close combated to OHKO Scissor, which was pretty impressive, seeing as Scissor's got pretty nice defense. So now I'm suspecting the ban, but I'm still not quite sure. So I bring in Terrafloss to Mega Horn, and this is a Scarf Terracross here. And basically, if I just stayed in and Mega Horned, I could pretty much rape his entire team. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make it a good fair matchup, even though it really isn't. And so yeah, that's what happened. So I Mega Horn, he brings in Bronzong, and Bronzong bites the dust with a mega horn to the friggin' face. Although it doesn't really have a face, it's just a massive bell end. Anyway, he's really thinking hard what to bring in, and he decides to bring in his Zam. Now, I don't stay in here for the single reason that I fear he has a sash. And I just want to get rid of it, so I just let the Sandstorm take effect. I switch to Nubs to take Psychic, which does Jackal. And now I'm just going to stay here till I wake up, basically, which is next turn. So he Focus Blast, and it missed, which was kind of gay, but it didn't do much. It wouldn't have done much anyway, seeing as it's unstabbed and not super effective. And I knock off his Sash, which I predicted there was. Now I'm going to Toxic him, even though I know he's going to Synchronize me. And the reason is that, basically, I can just rest it off. So I just want to get some damage, passive damage in there on his Alakazam. And now I become poisoned as well. So he goes for the Psychic again after this. And I decide to rest up. And so now I'm pretty much on full health now. It's pretty good. I can just stall him out completely. Now I expect the switch here, but I wasn't quite sure. So I just decided to stay in, get rid of one turn of rest, and his Gallade comes in. And now I decide to switch to Fortress, thinking that I could take the hit pretty nicely. But he close combats, and it does, wow, that does a hell of a lot. And I was thinking, Jesus, this thing's powerful. So basically, Fortress does nothing in this match. He just bites the dust to a physical sweeper, funnily enough. And down he goes there. So Gallade's pretty much done now. I bring in Heracross for the Shadow Claw to finish him off. And he takes quite a while thinking about this move. And he decides it's best to just stay in and not do anything to me. So he's taking a while to thinking, and eventually he decides to stay in. I go for the Shadow Claw, and he goes down. And the reason I didn't go for Mega Horn was because I was afraid of it missing, and I didn't want to ruin my Heracross sweep. And also, I just didn't want to own him completely, because, you know, that's not nice. And I have the complete type advantage, so yeah. It's just all a fun match, to be honest. So yeah, I Shadow Claw Zam because of the Scarf. And I reckon that his Starmie can live a Shadow Claw, but I just decide to go for it anyway so that it becomes a one-on-one in the end. And it's a lot closer. So I Shadow Claw, and he lives quite convincingly. And it only does 3/4, and then he just takes me out with a Psychic. So actually, I was getting a bit scared here, because I was thinking, wait a second, this Starmie might pack Surf, and if that's so, it may well be able to do quite a bit to me. But apparently he was spexed, I think he was anyway, because he kept using Psychic. And he got a crit there, which was kinda useless. But yeah, if he'd got another crit at after that, it would have been a lot more game-changing, because it meant I would have lost, basically. But yeah, I'm just hoping that this turn I don't get a crit, and thankfully he doesn't. I rest up, and I let Sandstorm and Poison take him out. And that's the game. So, great game, Soily, and I'll leave you with a bit of Breaking Benjamin. Cheers, guys.